else is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking apps. Nobody cares if you only eat meat. Every single one of you have to identify by carnivore fucking Connie, carnivore Ken, whatever the fuck your name is, and you add carnivore to the end of it on your fucking bio is fucking weird. You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion. A religion, a meat religion, okay? Like, what in the absolute meat fuck is this shit?
We are live, and that intro never gets old. Welcome to the Meat of the Matter. This is the place where we meet, you matter. That is Mark, he is Peter, I am Tony, and yeah, we've got some things to talk about today, boys. How you doing?
Great.
I'm doing very, very well. We certainly do.
Yeah. You know what? Why don't we just get into it? Let's run it. We're gonna start it, and we'll do.
These guys are getting richer while you're getting sicker. Write that down. 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 These foods are highly processed, complete garbage, and I can promise you now, I wouldn't even give it to my fucking dog. Write that down.
It is write that down. And, you know, Mark, we love you. Every video, you know, at the end, I just wait for it, write that down. But we got something today that's going to spark and it's going to be a catalyst to what we're going to talk about today, because this guy seems to always get in the way. And we'll see what you guys think about it. Here we go.
Another thing is that cows and other grass-eating species have a digestion system that emits methane. And methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And so cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. And so we need to change cows, just cows alone.
How are we going to do that?
Well, actually, of all the categories, the one that has gone better than I would have expected 5 years ago is this work to make what's called artificial meat. And so you have people like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
You eat it as well, and you like it?
Absolutely.
You do. Okay.
You can go to Burger King and buy the Impossible Burger.
All right. Is it healthier for you, or just healthier for the atmosphere?
It's slightly
for the atmosphere.
It's slightly healthier for you in terms of less cholesterol. It's, of course, dramatic reduction in methane emissions, you know, animal cruelty, manure management, and the pressure that meat consumption puts on land use.
All right. Where do we begin here, boys? Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? This is a great opener, because everybody's hearts warmed with Billy G. Right?
Yeah, well, you know what I dislike so much about this thing that they always present is that they present it as if the food that is good for the environment. Let's assume that it's theoretically it's better for the environment to reduce animal stock. What a coincidence. It's also better for our health. I don't get it. And what I don't like about this thing here is that environmental aspects are always mixed up with health studies. If I look at the dietary regulations of the Dutch government, if I look up the research that's behind it, you won't only find things about the diet, but also about the impact on the environment. And of course, that is a big confounder. It introduces a lot of bias if you want to focus on environment, which a lot of those people will do. And I imagine a lot of those people are here at my local university here, literally downstairs. I live above the Wageningen University. It's a big university, researching all these things like fake meats, environmental aspects, all these things. But I don't believe that they look at so much at the health of people. And, well, add to that one more thing. I recently heard that 7% of global CO2 emissions are caused by health care. Well, 7%, that is much more than agriculture. And I already guessed it. I never looked up the number, and it doesn't surprise me. But just the simple fact that there is so much money flowing around in health and the industry related to it, and that government is spending like, well, I don't know, it's like 10-15% of the entire money that government spends, and it's increasing up to probably something like 20-30% in a few decades. Where money flows, there is pollution. That's the thing. Unless you put that money directly into planting trees in the rainforest. That's how I look at it. And that's the thing that disturbs me the most of this approach of Bill Gates, because who knows, maybe Bill Gates even somewhere thinks that he is doing the right thing, but he isn't.
Well said, Peter. Mark, do you want to go? Because I've got something that's like, I'm glad you guys are going first, because you're not going to, well, Bill Gates isn't going to like what I say, but go on, Mark. You start us off.
I just echo everything what just Peter said. I'll just say this much, that if this is the route that we're going down, and hopefully it doesn't happen, we're going to be in serious, serious trouble. We really are. I mean, how the richest man in the world, or probably one of the richest people in the world, can come out with something like this is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So, you know what?
It's just incredible.
You know what? This is what I have to say. Stay away from our fucking food, dude.
That's what I put on.
You know what? Instagram. How about this? We are not doctors. We are not scientists. Neither are you, by the way. So this guy is, you know, I can't, like, it's unbelievable when I hear his, like, that voice. There's two people in this world that make me cringe, guys. It's Justin Trudeau and this guy. Like, honestly, my old Prime Minister of Canada. And you know what? When he starts talking and starts spouting off the shit, especially what I know now about, you know what? Tell all the vegans to stop eating vegetables. Stop farting if you have a problem with methane. Like, are you kidding me? Really? There's 8 billion people in the world. There used to be 8 billion cattle. Now there isn't. There's probably 4. How are they even remotely the problem? When, oh my, and there's so many things. And it just, it's kind of healthier for you to make lab meat. Because why? Why is it healthier? What did I can't even remember what he said, because I'm
cholesterol.
Yeah, because of the cholesterol. Really? That's why the lab meat is healthier for us. Holy shit. So you die on the sword for that one? Really? The 16...
when did nature ever tell us that we eat meat in the lab? When did nature ever tell us that we're meant to be in this crap? Or, you know what I mean? It was never ever invented. So exactly. Why are we making things complicated?
And you know, and that's such, Mark, what you just said right there is so important, because why are we making things complicated? Look at us. We sit here online and you have Mike the vegan arguing with Bart K about what's natural. Are you kidding me? Really? Do we have to really go on a social media and try and defend Beyond Burger? Really? You know, and even the climate change bullshit. Like, I don't want to get into that because I don't want to get political, but you know what, man? Cows and ruminant animals have been here since God created the earth. How the hell are they the problem? You know what I mean? And it just, every little step of what he said there, it goes back, and it just makes my head spin. And it's honestly to the point of anger, because I mean, I'm not allowed to talk to my carnivore community about Bill Gates in the mornings. I'm not allowed, because everybody tells me, like, we don't want to have a bad day, because it's so ridiculous, this shit that he's saying. And
I was just amazed that I put this up on TikTok, and within 5 seconds it was taken down.
Oh,
and
of course.
And I actually got a warning. They told me, like, listen, you can't be putting up this propaganda. This is all like misinformation. And that's where my biggest audience is. My biggest audience is on TikTok. More people need to see this, and it's incredible. Absolutely. That's why I tagged you guys in it, because I said, right, okay, you guys will be able to share it, but they won't even let me put it up.
No, and isn't it funny how, you know, this push with whatever agenda they want, and you know, I'm gonna say it here today because I'm in Canada. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but it's gonna be measles. Measles is the next one. Canada is going, viral with measles, and it's like all this stuff that's been part of our lives as we're kids. Like, it's, yeah, okay, I'm not saying measles isn't bad, but come on, man. Like, when we were kids, you just dealt with it. You just, and now it's all this push to, you know, well, you're gonna have to eat better food. We're gonna tell you what to eat, and it's so sad that I have to say that, but it all ties in. I found this stuff with nutrition, and now it's all tied into that, and it's horrifying how this guy can have so much, and he's behind the scenes too. Like, even though he's out there making, you know, like doing interviews and stuff, this guy, his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funds so much of the World Health Organization. You know what? It's all you have to do is have a look and look at where this is pushing you. Oh, I've invested in. At least he admits his conflict of interest. Like, I've invested in Beyond Meat and Impossible Burger, so that's why it's better, Bill. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know if have you ever you guys, this is a good one. Have you ever tasted Beyond Meat or Impossible Burger, Peter?
Something that's similar, probably in the past. I used to eat once in a while soy products, and Beyond Burger is probably soy and gluten protein.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make it taste nice by adding a lot of spices and that sort of stuff, artificial flavors.
Sure. I make my meat taste nice by adding salt. How about that, Bill?
Oh, no salt needed even.
Yeah. No,
I was the very same. Like, I tried it. I tried a plant-based diet. Like, I tried a plant-based diet about 6, maybe 7 years ago. It was absolutely horrible. Horrible. It doesn't even taste like meat. And that's another thing. Why are they coming out with these foods and they look like meat? Like, I don't get it. Like, you hear all these vegans say that meat is so bad, but everything just looks the exact same as meat. Like, what's the problem?
No, exactly. It's so hypocritical because, like, okay, I can understand ethics. I can understand religion. I can. If you feel that way, that's fine. But don't start pushing like, oh, look, I get to eat cheese now because it's vegan cheese. No, it's not cheese. That's a bunch of mixed up products that are going to harm you because it's processed food. That's a keto snack by, you know, oh, look, Kellogg's just came out with vegan friendly cornflakes. They were always vegan friendly, but I guarantee you put that on the label, they'll sell like hotcakes. They'll sell because it's crazy, man. And I've never, ever taken a bite of Beyond Meat or Impossible Burger, ever. The only time I've ever had a vegan meat thing was I was at a barbecue and there was a sausage on the grill and I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a sausage. And they're like, they didn't say anything. And I just grabbed it and I took a bite. I was like, what is this? And it was one of those vegan sausages. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, there's no love here.
Well, you see, I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is we're up against big players. That's what we're up against.
Oh, yeah.
Like, us three, we don't have anywhere near the following of like what Bill Gates has or all these celebrities that are getting paid to endorse all this crap. That's the problem. The problem is when you switch on your TV, you see all these brands, they're being published, they're being marketed, and this is the problem because people are sitting down, they're watching this shit, and they're thinking that, okay, if I buy this, I'm going to be a lot healthier. Yeah. So it's everywhere. Every ad you look on, it's always something. Buy something in this shop. Do this, do this, do this, do this. There's nothing on living a healthier lifestyle. There's nothing on carnivore. There's nothing on keto. It's just all down to the standard American diet, the standard European diet, being vegan. There's nothing else. It's just all propaganda. It's coming from the wrong people.
For Solidaire, thank you. For one cow, they kill 1,000 insects. Exactly. So, okay, you're a vegan for the animal's sake. Do you understand? Okay, let's just think this hypothetically here. We're on a deserted island, and we have a few people with us, and we have to grow crops. So let's get this land ready. What do we have to do? We have to destroy the land. We're gonna have to make sure the land is capable of growing the plants for us. So, sorry, earmuffs, everybody. Fuck all the foxes. Screw the deer. Never mind the birds. What matters most is our people. So we are going to destroy the ecosystems. So not only insects, and I agree with that, absolutely. But if you're saying a life for a life, why don't you just hunt the animal and save all those lives? It doesn't make sense, man. And exactly. And Lambs has a good point. This is good because it gets sparks, like this sparks the emotion in me, because I can't really talk about this with people they're irrational. You mention this stuff, and if they're not coming from a carnivore sort of our perspective, they get really defensive really quick. And it's like, it's unbelievable how this works with monocrop agriculture and systematically destroying our earth in the name of corn, wheat, and soy. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
100%.
And then they have the balls and the audacity to tell us that it's better in every. So you go to Whole Foods and you buy anything. How did it get there? How sustainable is this? I can understand making an effort, but you can't tell me that's any different than the other supermarket over there. And you know what I mean? It's still, it had to get there somewhere. So how is that more?
How can you convince me that a piece of beef with just one ingredient compared to what's that burger called? What's his company called? He sponsored
the Beyond Burger.
Beyond Meat, yeah.
Beyond Burger. You look at a Beyond Burger, it probably has around 20, 30 ingredients. How can you convince me that a beef burger with just one ingredient compared to a Beyond Burger is more healthier for you?
Exactly. Okay. You said that right there, Mark. Now I'm gonna let's test you guys. All right. What makes our blood red? Do you guys know?
Hemoglobin, iron.
Exactly. Okay.
Right.
What is what do you know? You know the heme in the blood, the hemoglobin. All right. Mm-hmm. So what makes us specific as living animals compared to plants? Peter, since you're on a roll.
Yeah, you just said it, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about the cornflakes story. Yeah? That if you would put a magnet on top of it, they always told that it's full of iron and it would follow the magnet. Yeah. And that doesn't happen with meat.
So now I'm so smart, and my foundation is saving everybody. So we're gonna create this thing called legume hemoglobin. It's not hemoglobin. It's leg hemoglobin. And we're going to put it in our Beyond Meat. And we're going to say, look, don't worry about it. We got you covered. It's ridiculous. And I don't know what, it's something to make color. So not only do you can't stand blood, you don't want to eat it, but you make something that looks like it's bloody. So what the hell is that? Wouldn't it make sense if you're a vegan, if you're so against animals, you would not want anything to do with blood?
Yeah, and the whole story is a house of cards. It's based on pseudo markers and even false markers. Because on the food labels, you'll find that there are all these vitamins and all these minerals, but they are just artificially added in the wrong form typically. And we talked about cholesterol, for example. They talk about these pseudo markers for health, and people will read it on a package. If I go to the shop here, I'll read on a package of margarine that it will lower cholesterol. The plant sterols on it are very healthy because they lower cholesterol. But if then, for example, that's a nice detail. If you look on the package or at the information on the website of this company that makes margarine, you'll read also that you're not allowed to eat it when you're pregnant.
Wow.
And it appears that there are studies that show that large amounts of plant sterols are actually bad for it, especially if you have this condition, cytosterolemia, I think.
Yeah.
Then they are really bad. And so, yeah, you can look at these pseudo markers, and the same with plant oils, omega-3 and omega-6. Yes, if you are following a standard diet with a lot of crap, you're not eating fish, no meat sources of omega-3.
And
If you
see, this
add
is
in,
this is the biggest. And
Go on, Mark.
no, I was
love
just
it.
gonna. Sorry, Peter. Sorry, Peter. No, I was just gonna add in, like, this is the biggest issue I have with women with PCOS and fertility issues. They say to me, listen, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating my greens, I'm eating my
Yeah.
vegetables, I'm eating everything, but I still have to go to my doctor for IVF. And I'm like, listen to me. Get rid of the plants, increase your fats, increase your fats, and you will see that miracle happen. How can I get these women to conceive when I'm not even a fucking doctor? And I would say in the last 3 years, I've had around 10 women that have conceived and had a baby. And these people were told that you're never going to have a baby without IVF. Can
How
you
about this,
imagine
Mark?
how crazy that is?
Just add butter.
And B vitamins are a big thing, probably, right? In fertility, I remember. I won't go into details, but let's say that in my family there has been history with this as well, and adding in B vitamins, not even from meat, but it was still, for example, from nutritional yeast, not the best source, but better than plants.
Yeah,
that helped.
Yeah,
and not going fully plant-based. And for sure, being vegetarian all that time before really caused struggles.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was one thing I was thinking about, Mark, what you just said, that's a thing that you hear so much in the case of fertility, but also when people get diagnosed with cancer or so, you'll hear from relatives like, oh, how is that possible? You've been living so healthy. You have been eating and following such a good diet. And if you go and look into the details of it, they'll follow some sort of quasi-Mediterranean diet, probably still with a lot of processed food, high in carbohydrates, not enough meat, all these things.
Yeah, because usually, sorry, Tony. Yeah,
Go
because usually when I speak to someone, they'll always say to me, the first thing they'll always say to me is, Mark, I'm eating healthy. I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're eating healthy, but I want to know what you're eating. And they'll keep on saying the same thing. But Mark, I'm eating healthy. I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, I've heard you, but I just want to know what you're eating. And again, it's the same protocol. I'm eating oats. I'm having protein powder. I'm eating a ton of vegetables. I'm eating a ton of salads. And I'm like, okay, but how do you feel? I feel like crap. You know what I mean? And then with the women, they're going through menopause. They're dealing with endometriosis, fibromyalgia, PCOS. I can go on and on and on. And it's like, okay, but tell me what the diet's like. I don't care about anything else. Just tell me what your diet is like. Instantly, I can pick it up straight away. 99% of people are following a lean-based diet. They're not having any. They're not. Sorry, Tony. They're not having any fat in their diet whatsoever. It's all lean-based.
But
that's where the problem is.
That's the problem is guys like Bill Gates are spouting off this shit is okay, and not to mention our programming from decades ago was low fat, moderate protein, high carb. And I don't care if you eat carbs, if you don't understand metabolism and you don't understand that fat and carbs together are not a good idea.
Doesn't go.
If you're eating moderate carbohydrates and the wrong timing and the wrong fat, of course. And then what do? They blame the fat. The fat that brings the hormones, the fat that brings the fat-soluble vitamins, the fat that brings the fatty acids to the brain, the fat that doesn't destroy the brain and the neurotransmitters. They say that that's the shit that's bad. And Mark, you just said it. Like, this is something that, I scream. We have an infertility crisis on our hands. The powers that be, like Bill Gates, are saying there's a population problem on the world, on planet Earth. They are destroying us. They're destroying our health. They are giving us, I hate this word, but misinformation, and they're making you feel ashamed for it. It's it's the biggest trick. It's unbelievable.
And can I just add to that as well? Us as parents, we're meant to be having children. That's what we're meant to be reproducing. It's unbelievably damaging when these women are being told that this is never going to happen. Like, I've had women in front of me in tears, in tears, saying like, listen, I've done everything. I can't afford IVF. You're talking, honestly, guys, you're talking. I had a woman tell me that she had to spend up to nearly 45 grand to get IVF. Now think about that for a second. 45,000 euro to get IVF. And I spoke to her. I said, listen, let's just try something for 6 months. Let's just try it. Let's go get off all the medication and let's just try something. I'm not a doctor, but I just have a feeling about this.
Yeah.
I had her on a very, very moderate protein. I had her on very, very little amount of protein, but I bumped her fats up really, really high, like really, really high. Within 6 months, this is no word of a lie. I'll actually get her on this podcast very, very soon.
Yeah.
Within 6 months, she gave birth to a little baby girl.
Well, she conceived.
She was having a baby.
That's a quick term, buddy.
Yeah. No, but she sent me the message, and she was like, "I'm gonna have a baby girl."
That's amazing, man. And this is the stuff, and these kind of talks right now are the stuff that normal people don't have. It's like, look around. I have friends, $120,000 to have a baby.
Oh wow!
The baby was born 3 months premature. The baby was they were worried it wasn't going to make it to 1 year old, and now she's good and she's great and she's healthy. But seriously, man, and you know what's funny, you guys? And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to toot my own horn. When I sat down with my friend, 3 years before, as they were starting this process, it took them 2 years to have a baby. It was right when I was starting this whole journey, and I was like, check your wife if she's insulin resistant, man. Like, seriously, look at it. They were like, oh, the doctors have it. And I'm like, do you know what happened? 2 years later, she had a HOMA IR test, found that her insulin was through the roof. I knew already. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They're like, oh, she's insulin resistant. She's got to watch her. I was like, you kidding? You've just spent that much money and the medical system couldn't see that. And it was not about me. So I told you so. That was not the point. But it was like, why isn't this thing, what we all know, whatever you want to say about insulin resistance, why is it not a thing in health? Why is it not like, Peter, you have to know about insulin, like being a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, but it's also amazing how far people can go without looking at their diet, right?
Yeah.
And looking at their diet, I mean, looking at your insulin resistance is basically looking at your diet, because not much more is involved. I mean, you can try and exercise as much as you want. If your diet is crap, it won't help with insulin resistance. It will only temporarily lower your insulin resistance. And the same with obesity, right? People switch to GLP-1 agonist or even gastric bypasses, that sort of things. I mean, that's huge. You're doing an operation on your body, and you're not considering even an extreme diet like carnivore, because, well, however extreme it is,
and that's
paying a lot, and then all the side effects of it.
I actually watched a documentary on that. I saw a documentary about 2 weeks ago that this woman was doing absolutely everything possible to have a baby, and the doctors had told her, like, listen, you're going to increase your chances of having a baby if you lose weight. Guess what the doctor did? He put her on Ozempic. So he said to her, like, this is going to increase your chances of having a baby if you lose the weight and take these injections. Crazy stuff, guys. Crazy.
I'm gonna say this too, with all, like, the way it's pushed to us with this now, all good in 2 weeks kind of shit with Ozempic. If you just understand the process, understand that you have put yourself in this position over decades, and it's not your fault. It's not our fault. We've all been there. We've all come to this moment in our own time. But it's so important to realize that it takes time to adjust. Fat adapted. People talk about going into ketosis and they like test their ketones. Oh my God, I'm not in ketosis. I'm not. It's like, holy shit, you've been eating sugar for 35 years, every day, 16 times a day. And now you like, your body's not going to just flip over. And it's so crazy. And we talk about this stuff. Like, I don't mean to minimalize it. Like, I don't want to sound like it's easy. It's not. But it's getting that whole shift. And it's funny how everything that we talk about, everything, infertility, type 1 diabetes, fibromyalgia, we just talked to Miranda about that, all fixed with diet. But why is it so hard to tell people that's the X factor?
And when are we going to get to that stage where we forget about these studies that these doctors and these nutritionists are telling us about what they read, and when are they going to listen to people that are actually coming out and saying, well, listen, the evidence is clear. What you guys have been telling me has been wrong. And it's been a lie all this time. And we need to do this. And this is what we need. We need people like the people that I'm working with that are coming out the other side and they're saying, like, listen, my life has changed. Like, that's what we need. We need people that are coming out and giving these testimonials and talking about their experiences, because this is the only way we're going to change the system.
And
a good doctor uses education as a base, but then improves his knowledge and his experience by listening to anecdotes and what he sees in his practice. And you see it with good doctors like Ken Berry. I mean, he didn't know about high carb diets causing type 2 diabetes and that you cannot outrun your diet and all those things. And he experienced the things also himself. That's also a big thing, right? The doctors should also be in good health. If they are not practicing what they preach, basically that's a big red flag.
But and you're right, Peter. And this is the thing. Like, we are not doctors. We are not scientists. We are just three guys that have had something so impactful in our lives that we're sharing it. That right there is pretty powerful. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter who's saying it. It's what's been said. Look at all three of us. Type 1 diabetic, that's impossible to fucking live without carbs. Sorry, I don't mean to swear there, but Peter is living this way despite all the medical advice, despite everything that you hear online. Peter's not supposed to be able to do this. He does it. So is he wrong? Do you have to?
And see, Peter would tell everybody that when it comes to diabetes, he's got the best information. Like, a lot of people will say this is down to insulin resistance. This is all down to blood glucose. If your blood glucose is elevated, then there's the problem. A lot of people in the health sector will say that this is an insulin resistance issue. It's not an insulin resistance issue. This is down to putting just too much carbohydrates down your neck.
Insulin, it's a natural response.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, and I understand like the problem, and I understand, but what's driving the problem? Cause and effect. And I just want to take this time to say, guys, thank you very much for all of you being here. Your comments, we really appreciate it. And, this is a kind of a good one. It's charged. We're charged. We do this every Sunday, and we would love you if you just hit the like button, subscribe to the channels. Help us, man, because we're just trying to put this word out, because we are up against a wall, man, and the wall is closing in. We're just trying to, these guys, these, sycophants like Bill Gates are taking control of our health with, I don't give a shit what you say, man. If it's not natural, it ain't right. And I'm on that fence now where It's all these things that we're talking about are fixed with nature. God and Mother Nature knew what they were doing. And every time we step in the way, in the name of the greater good of the planet, what happens? They tell us that we have a population problem. We got to feed the population, put cows on grass that we can't make fields on. Cows can graze on unplantable land. Just watch Peter Ballersted's stuff. Oh my God. It's so logical. It makes so much sense. You can use this land. Cows can use this land. Put more cows on it. More nutrition per person. Simple. Stop telling people that corn, wheat, soy, monocrop agriculture, vegan-based, all this shit is better. I don't care if you do it. I care that you're preaching to people, telling them and making them feel shame for not doing it. That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you want to do it, I don't give a shite what you do. Just don't preach it to the world.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Because that's the problem I have.
And then
and that's the frustrating thing, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. That's the problem.
And it's like this thing, like, I don't know how you guys do this, but I was at the pool, went to the gym yesterday, went into the sauna, and it freaks me out because people start talking and they start talking politics, and they obviously I can't be silent and not talk about nutrition, because it always falls back to that, right? So we have this big thing going on in Canada that's like, it's crazy what's going on with our political system. I'm not getting into it, but I throw out these little tests with people to see how aware they are about their food supply and what's going on. Most people have no clue, man.
No, indeed.
They're like, it's just food is food. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? Look what happened. They pushed us to do the, whatever you want to call it, the Beetlejuice jabs, whatever, without any thought.
But Tony, let me connect it with this comment here below, because I like it very much.
Yeah.
And what the government does when it comes to food, nutrition, and health is that even if you believe that the government has good intentions, let's assume that they have some slight good intentions. The thing is, they will focus on the population as a whole. They are just interested in the average people, in the average population being more healthy, if they have good intentions, or for the average population to live a certain lifestyle that is good for their whatever intentions they have, money or whatever. The thing is, it's all based on averages. When you look at nutrition research, it's based on populations, and they will tell you to eat a varied diet, eat the rainbow of vegetables, lower your cholesterol, all these things. And on an average, that might be slightly beneficial, because it's some sort of trick for people without knowing, without thinking, to still get some sort of vitamins. So if you eat a variety of foods, you might have a little bit more luck in obtaining certain nutrients. And on the population level, that will improve things. But for the individual, these things can be horrendous, because what is valid for the average person doesn't apply for the individual. If I, as a type 1 diabetic, am going to eat the rainbow on the fruit department, I don't know, at some point I'll jump off the roof probably because of misery.
It's true. And you're right. Like we take this stuff, and I don't know if it's like orchestrated. I don't know if this is planned. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know who the power is that tricks the smart people that went to school to think about this. Like, all it takes is 5 minutes of just logic and throwing everything on in front of you and looking at what is or isn't. It doesn't happen. And that's what freaks me out. And all of us, internationally, this is going on.
The thing is, basically, just to paraphrase it, what I said is that they don't care about the individual. They just care about mass effects, about where does the big money go, basically. Let's formulate it like that.
And you know what's amazing? Like, I've been doing this like for 4 years. For 20 years, when I done my degree, like, say, I done my nutrition degree about 25 years ago. When I look back at what I've learned in the last 4 years, I have learned so much more in that 4 years. How can someone like me, as I mentioned earlier, I know nothing about what a doctor knows. How can I know more about how can I know more about metabolic health in the last 4 years when I did none of it back in college? None of it. I wasn't even allowed to teach nutrition, guys. It was all based on personal training, gym tuition, swimming teaching. That's all it was. We did nothing. We weren't allowed to teach nutrition. It wasn't until I had to go back to college and do my nutrition degree.
Yeah.
We don't teach that over here. If you're doing,
but it's what you're saying is it's never the whole. It's always compartmentalized. So you want to learn about this, you have to learn about that.
And you have to pay for more. Yeah, you have to.
You know what I mean? More, it's never like, honestly, when I was in nutrition school, people argue with me. They're like, "Well, what do you know?" I took 4 months of anatomy. Not to mention, like, well, what the fuck does it matter? Like, how your muscle moves if it's not getting fuel? How does it matter? You know, like what the ankle bone's connected to the knee bone when you're not getting enough protein, collagen, and you're like, are you? I understand.
And when you look at the system, Tony, sorry for interrupting you again.
No, yeah.
But see, when you look at the system, what infuriates me is when I go to my local gym and I see all these personal trainers looking after these clients and they're shouting at them, screaming at them, and these people are overweight, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this needs to stop. Yeah. This needs to stop, because why are we shouting at these people to lose weight? Do you really need somebody looking at you and say, okay, do one more rep, do one more rep? You can do all this shit yourself. You don't need all this.
Yeah.
This is where we're going wrong. Don't get me wrong now. Personal training is great when you have people that know what they're talking about. But when you have someone that's shouting at you, especially if you're overweight, it's absolutely ridiculous. I have people in my local gym that have people that are overweight running on the fucking treadmill.
Yeah, that's like, honestly, that pisses me off, because like there's so many things wrong with that. But
it's crazy.
It's this indoctrination and the call to authority. I'm a trainer. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a dietitian. Listen to me. Well, okay, but you were taught something. What if you were taught was wrong? Don't say that. I was there. I saw it. I was there for 3 years. I watched this shit unfold in front of my face. And I was like, ethically, this internal battle saying I wasted my money. I wasted my time, but actually it wasn't, because I learned that this is not the way to help people. When I have conversations with you, how we all met, and I see these people having these turnarounds with their health, with diet, it just reassures me that I did the right thing, because we talk with Miranda, we talk with Vita, we talk to Victoria, we talk to, it's this, when do people start to realize that everybody that I actually talk to that's just a normal person passing by on the street, they don't believe it.
Yeah, well, Tony, you talked about schools and universities and nutrition education. What people don't realize, and I have not followed nutrition education, but I went to university and stayed there for several years. I also did research and peer review and all that sort of stuff. And people overestimate the value of those things. Yeah. And also, when you look at universities, nowadays, every person that goes to high school can, after that, go to university. And I have also been teaching at university during my PhD. And when you look at the quality of what students deliver, it's horrendous. They are not able sometimes to formulate complete sentences. And compare that with what a university was like 2 centuries ago, then it really meant something. And still, even if it meant something, you had to be critical, of course, because you could have good and bad students. But nowadays, I don't know, there's maybe a percentage of people that really do good stuff. But in terms of scientific research, also in my field, and that was in applied mathematics, I would come across a lot of examples where you just hand in an article publication, just sufficient level of quality to pass the requirements to be published in this journal or conference series, and then you're happy because also your professor will get some accreditations for that probably. And in medical research, it's no different. Actually, it's much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it's a laughing stock of science basically. You hardly can't call it science, and it's
But
all
that's
about modeling and
totally,
assumptions and all this
Peter.
stuff.
You've hit it on the head with everything. Everything is that now. It's not you're not inspired to think for yourself.
Yeah,
And it
and
seems like
that's what they did 2 centuries ago at
yeah,
university. There you had this Homo universalis that
yeah,
was interested in all fields, also put in a lot of his own, let's say, creativity or whatever, or good thinking.
yeah,
That's not there usually. I mean, it is there, but it's rare.
yeah. But and you know, like look at us. Like what I find now with this awakening, like when you wake up to this, especially in the because nutrition woke me up. Because the first question was, how is this wrong? How are we so wrong? How are they telling us this stuff and it's not right? And I bet like it took me years to get through that. Like I was like, how are carbohydrates not necessary? You know,
Yeah,
like when you hear this, you're kind of like, what? I was told I ate cereal every fucking day for 30 years of my life. How is this not good for me?
and
It's
I
hard.
wasn't there, but this sounds like a true scientific approach. In the
Yeah,
past, I mean, nowadays you sit together with hundreds of students in a big college room, get all
yeah.
kinds of lectures. That's not how it was done in the past.
No. Let's think about this, right? And we all did it. And the unfortunate thing, which I will urge everybody that's listening, all of our friends, to share this stuff because this is the moment right now. This is it. Don't wait till you're desperate. Don't wait till you have it sucks because you're gonna. And then when you come to this way of eating and save your life, you're gonna change your life, and it's gonna be like us. Why didn't I do this 20 years ago? Why didn't I do this? I don't like to say I preach or like tell anybody to do anything. That's not what it's about. But try and understand what nutrition is. Nourish yourself, and you'll see.
I'll tell you as a story. I had a sales call this week with a woman who was in a really, really bad way. She reached out to me from TikTok. She's dealing with Lyme disease. She's been dealing with Lyme disease now for the last 6 years. She's in horrendous pain. She's after getting arthritis, back pain. She can hardly walk. This woman is hooked up to medication. She's drugged up to her eyeballs. We got on a sales call there last week, and I explained to her. I said, "Listen, you need to take matters into your own hands, and you need to let me help you." She was absolutely convinced that the doctor's way was the right way.
Of course.
Convinced.
It's
So
really
she
hard.
did. So that sales call went on for an hour. I wasted my time for 1 hour because
Wow.
I tried to give her as much information as possible, and it's very, very frustrating when you know hand on your heart,
Yeah.
you can help these people.
Yeah.
But the one thing I said to her was, you've been doing this for the last 6 years. You know it hasn't worked. You wouldn't have reached out to me if it was working. So why are you going back and doing this for another 5 or 6 years? And she was like, boy, he's a doctor.
Of course. Right.
What can you do?
They know.
What can you do?
And you know what? Like, I had one of my clients actually just had a colonoscopy. I'm not really a big fan of those, but that's for another day. But anyway, all good, everything down there. But they said to him, "Oh, you're presenting diverticulitis." No, that's it. Well, what do I do? Oh, well, eat healthy. Oh, really? And now that he's been with me for a few months, I was like, look, okay, we don't care about diverticulitis. We don't care about any itis because we're dealing with inflammation. All of it will go away as you're progressing, as you're getting better. And he's totally on board. It's not like I have to it's so hard to rewire that programming. And I get the same thing, Mark, all the time. when I'm in my clinic and people are talking to me, they come in with something and I ask them how they eat, and they say, well, I'm on this, the doctor says this, and I'm like, stop eating sandwiches, man. Stop eating bread. And they fight it. They can't handle the truth. And that's actually what it is, man.
It's exactly what I see with type 1 diabetics. And still, I'm trying to find a type 1 diabetic on a high carb or medium carb diet that has an A1C below reference maximum level. Yeah. But every time when I encounter a diabetic that says, yes, yeah, I'm eating carbs and I'm feeling great and my values are in range, never are they actually in range.
Yeah.
Never. They are all based on these diabetic reference ranges, and
it's
they
the new
still
normal,
are able.
It's the new normal.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same story. People think they are doing a healthy thing, and okay, some of them are doing a much better job living a more healthy life than the average diabetic with an A1C of a 6 or 6.5, but it's still very poor control.
Yeah. And you know, it's scary too, because I know both of us have like encountered this. It's like, if you're thriving, if you're really honestly thriving in your life, every day you wake up, you can't wait to take on the day, do your things, get motivated, do your thing. You have no hangups. Don't change a thing. Obviously, don't change a thing.
Yeah.
But if you're not, any of it, if you brain fog, sleep problems, snoring, sleep apnea, and you're concerned about it, when someone,
which you should,
when someone suggests trying something for a certain amount of time to see what happens, why is that a problem? It's unbelievable. If you said to somebody, hey man, you should go vegan, you should go all like stop eating meat and like just eat plants, people go, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. Why? Because you're supposed to eat meat. That's why but if you say just eat meat, all carnivore, try that. They go, oh no, that's bad for me. I can't do that. Like, ooh, I would never be able to do that. It's wild to watch that logic and the thought process go. And it's unbelievable how many people like just defend vegetables. They're not even good for, like, they don't taste good. Make a salad. Eat a salad without the dressing. Go on. Eat a baked potato without the butter and sour cream. Go on. I'll wait. Eat a spaghetti dish without the sauce and the stuff. Go on. I'll wait. Awesome. This stuff's really delicious, isn't it? It's unbelievable how highly defended. Eat oatmeal without anything in it. Good luck. Try it.
Yeah, it's all down to just entertainment. People are just convinced that we need to eat a variety of food. That's what it comes down to. It's like we have to eat the rainbow. We need to make sure that everything is on our plates. We need to be eating our carbohydrates, our vegetables, our proteins. That's the way we were all brought up. Your plate should have your plate should have 3 portions as the government recommends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I never get bored.
We were all told the exact same thing.
Bro.
Just I mean, maybe if 10 or 20 days in a row I would eat the same steak. Yeah, at some point I think maybe take a different piece of meat, but even that.
You know what, man? Ribeyes have been on special at my the grocery store beside me. I'm milking it, man. Every day I'm just going to buy ribeye. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's half price. Like, let's go. Let's do this until it's in. I'll buy 50 and put them in the freezer. But I was like, I kind of like fresh stuff. So it's unreal how I can eat every day. I look at this giant 2-pound ribeye and I go, oh yeah, that's good. And now today I'm like, already I'm thinking, I want another one. Like it's not difficult, but obviously we complicate everything. And guys like Bill Gates, sorry to bring it back into that guy. Look at him. You want to be getting health advice from that guy? Are you kidding me? I don't know what he's doing intravenously, but I'm sure he's going to transport his soul into another body when he's done. I'm positive, because if that's the way you're going to take care of your body in this world, bud, and you're telling us to eat all this shit, unbelievable. Like
it's like Windows. This I mean, it's a big health experiment, but it's literally bugged. This
Yes.
fake meat. And
Yeah.
probably they'll have like tens or hundreds of reissues of meat and updates and upgrades before they find something that actually nourishes us. Because in theory, if you spend hundreds and thousands of years with a lot of research, who knows? Maybe humans at some point are smart enough to reproduce meat, but not within a few decades.
What I don't understand. Okay, let's throw a little thought experiment out here, guys. They can clone sheep. Why not clone sheep? You make the meat, you make the food. Like, why are we just making the sirloin? Like, how do they do that in a petri dish? They grow the meat out of the. Why don't we can do that? We can make the animal. Make the animal. Nope, that's not good enough. And that's the environmental pressure on the methane bullshit. That drives me crazy. Everybody that has a problem with me polluting has no idea what causes what. They just listen to the shit and they tell us that, cows they drink a lot of water. What? Like, how is that even an issue that an animal on planet Earth that was created by God and Mother Nature is the problem for drinking water while they eat food that we're supposed to eat? What? No, they don't actually. Yeah. How many times have you chomped down a corn shaft all the way down to the bottom? Right. Yeah, that's food for us. Like, they don't get it.
It's also about keeping things local, and I'm not sure if this is a Peter Ballister argument, but talking about the water, the cow drinks the water, and of course it will also urinate the water. So if it stays in place, the water will remain there, and it's the same for the manure. The manure will fall on the ground, it's collected, it's used locally to produce vegetables and fruits. Let's say that we need them. But what do we do? What do we do? We both export the cow and the vegetables and the fruits all across the world. And what you're basically doing is you're transporting and exporting manure, which you should keep in place.
Yeah.
I mean, transporting all that stuff, I mean, that's a huge environmental impact, basically.
No doubt. And am I that naive? Am I that ignorant to think that local, seasonal, regenerative agriculture, animals on land, is that like so batshit crazy that people can't deal with it? Like, honestly, man, we all go to a farmer's market. Why? It's local. People love it. They don't go, damn farmer's market, taking our economy in their own hands and keeping the money here. Nobody says that. But yet when we try to do it on a macro level, everybody has a problem. It's unbelievable. I bet you guys, let's do a thought experiment let's do a real experiment one time. Go into the grocery store in Holland and in Ireland. I'll try and find something from Holland and Ireland here in Canada.
Oh, easy.
And I bet you it's cheaper. I bet you it's cheaper than where you guys are. You'll find some Canadian product that's cheaper than I can get here. That's
we grow tomatoes. We are the biggest tomato exporter of the world.
Yeah. Good for you.
In the Netherlands, here, in this climate.
Yeah. Hey, man. Those chemical companies can do wondrous things, right? Like they can break the system. Oh, look. Yeah, where do you live? In Yukon, in the Arctic. Yeah? What do you produce? Pineapples. What? Yeah, we're the biggest pineapple producer in the world. Yeah, we're in the tundra. We snow pineapples. Like, oh my God.
But is that true, Tony? That's what I understood, at least in the States, is that most vegetables and fruit are coming actually from Europe. That the whole trade issue that Trump is talking about.
I'm not joking. When I go, this is my personal experience. When I go to the store, we have we'll just say, for instance, strawberries, local strawberries from Vancouver, from where I am. The Mexican and the Californian strawberries are cheaper. It's unreal. And we're talking by dollars, like not just a little bit cheap. We're talking dollars cheaper. And then, holy crap, if you throw in organic, whoa, man. It's unbelievable. And that's our North America. I don't know. we have all this tariff bullshit going on. Everybody's all Trump in arms, like whatever. It's an imaginary line, and the people are pretty similar. Simple. Like, it's not that far. Like, I live 10 minutes away from the United States. Like, honestly, the border is right there. What's the difference between me and Washington? Between me and Bellingham? Nothing. You know, it's ridiculous. And I don't get involved in the politics because it's tough. Everybody has a problem with everything that's going on. And all I know is, why isn't raw dairy legal? That's the only politics I play, man. It's like, we're poisoning our kids with cereals. Bill Gates is vaccinating us with anything he wants to, but yet we can't drink raw dairy. We can't drink what? That just, to me, that logic doesn't, it's unreal.
And it makes such a difference. I mean, I started since 1 or 2 months now drinking raw dairy.
I tried to get that video up for you, Peter, because that was awesome.
Sorry?
I love that last video that you did about that.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Do me a favor, go on to Peter's TikTok and watch the raw dairy adventure.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, but anyway, it makes a huge difference, because in the past, no way I would drink milk. I would occasionally eat some yogurt, pasteurized and all those things, but pasteurized milk, it would upset my stomach enormously. And now I drink, I can drink a liter a day, no problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't do it because a liter a day is probably like 40 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. I have done it a few times, but
I'm not surprised by your video then, buddy. You're going to that. But honestly, yeah. But how about, why is it illegal, yet we in Canada decriminalize drug use? So it's okay to do drugs. It's okay to do fentanyl on the bus, but I can't go to a farm and buy a pint of milk. Really?
Yeah, they opened up drug centers over here for people
Yeah.
to go in and do it safely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
And
People are going into these injection centers and they're
Yeah.
being prescribed their own drugs.
I
Like,
mean, that's a
it's
whole
just
other talk.
crazy.
And I hear you, Mark, but it's crazy how we can't go to the farm, milk the cow, drink the milk. We can't do that because that's illegal. We will get fined. If they found out, their farm will get shut down. It's ridiculous. And yet you can go on the bus, like, do your thing, whatever, in public. Unbelievable. It's unreal.
I don't know about you guys, but I personally would love to live on a farm. Give me some food and shelter, and
Yeah.
I'll stay there.
Hey, man, I've thought about it. Honestly, guys, I'm just like, I'm on. We all talk about this stuff, but like, that would be heaven to me. Waking up, going to get my eggs, going to get milk the dairy goat or the dairy cow, and like, let it sit there. If I don't feel like drinking it, it's making yogurt. And then after the animal's life, I would be part of the ceremonial slaughter, and respect, do my thing, and oh man,
Yeah.
sunshine, earth, I'd be down. So anybody, if you're in British Columbia-ish, if you have a farm and you need some help, but I just want all the eggs I can
Same
eat.
for me. I'll just I need to get the permit, but
Me too.
But that's where it's coming down to, man. And look at this guy, Bill Gates. Like, he's virtue signaling all over the world how he's so good, and he's putting like saving all these children in Africa. You know what? I honestly believe this. There is not a food problem in the world. There is a management of food problem where, you know what? It's not. And how can three guys in a little podcast that's trying to get the word out figure this out, and these corporate bigwigs, they have a board meeting, they can't have this conversation? No. It's unreal. And that's what scares me.
The problem is we're being forced to eat this food. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with your health. Nothing. That's probably the last thing on their mind. Whether, well, what's a good selling feature? Oh, it's healthy. Okay, let's put it on there. right? That's probably what happens because we need some studies. Okay, well who can we hire? We'll hire this guy to organize the studies. He'll tell us that it's all good. So keep eating your Fruit Loops, keep eating your Shreddies, keep eating your BHT, your TSP, and your plastic forks and knives.
But it's insanity anyway to expect any good intentions from capitalism and globalism when it comes to your personal health. I mean, when you just look at it that way, it's makes sense.
That's the best way to look at it. How about this? It's okay to call these people out. It's not okay for them to try and defend it. Because if you're a capitalist and you want to make money, I understand that. Make money. Just be transparent. Tell us what it is.
Yeah.
You know what? If you want to drink Coca-Cola, tell us that it's a bunch of garbage. Don't tell us that it's, when you drink a Coca-Cola, your friend appears out of nowhere and you're like going to have the best life of your life, right? Like that's the problem with Coke. It's shit. It's not good for you. Have one once in a while if you can, but that's not the case. It's drink as much as humanly possible until you're dead, and then we got the drugs to save you when you're sick.
Yeah, you get these very insane constructions like the Olympics being sponsored by Coca-Cola and that sort of stuff, and McDonald's.
That's what I was going to say. It's like when they come out with these foods, these drinks, it's like, okay, how can I actually make this huge? And like what Peter mentioned, they bring these at these events. They have them on the like, you ever see them when they're doing the halftime show on it's unbelievable. It's like it's non-stop. It's just food, drink, everything. It's just in your
food
face.
And cars,
everything.
Basically.
It's just literally in your face.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And this is the stuff. You know what, actually, guys, we're probably getting a little long here, so we'll probably wind it up today, but this is a good talk for I want a shout out to Lambs. Guys, I'm not lying to you. Lambs sent me a message on a comment, and he's like, you got to check out Sam Bailey. Holy crap. Like this doctor from New Zealand changed my life. You guys check it out when you have some time, and shout out to Lambs for that. Then he said to me, well, if you're into that, which it's unreal. I'm not even going to tell you what she's all about, but it's wild. Then he told me about my lunch break. So what we're talking about now is these deep-rooted, is it darker than just corporate greed? This is my opinion. Obviously, I'm not pushing this on anybody. I think it's deeper than that. I think there's some kind of spiritual war going on because it doesn't make sense to me. All this stuff that, like the health, the pharma, the food, like everything I look at from ancient history to biology is there's shit that they're lying or hiding. I don't understand it, and I think it's deeper than what we're starting to wake up to this, and we all came to this with nutrition and health. But it doesn't make sense to me because, Peter, why the hell wouldn't a doctor want to be the best doctor for a type 1 diabetic? It doesn't make sense when what you're doing should be the textbook.
Think about this fact also that I mean, we have so much knowledge right now, and it takes already decades and decades and decades to find a cure for type 1 diabetes.
Yeah. Right?
I don't see how that's possible. Well, I do because when you look at the research funding, it's minimal.
Yeah.
And couldn't it be amazing that after all these years, we're all trying to find a cure for cancer? Maybe it's just staring us in the face.
Maybe you listen to me, people in the YouTube space. You need to know who Thomas Seyfried is, Dr. Thomas Seyfried. If you have a problem with cancer, if you have somebody that's suffering, listen to that guy. Holy shit, man. It's life-saving. And it doesn't change a thing. You just change your diet. He is, honestly, man, like you guys, I'm sure you know who Thomas Seyfried is. Guys,
I've heard him.
How is that guy not a household name?
Same with Bark, eh?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And what you're saying, Mark, is true. Like, you know what? What if it's staring you right in the face? That's it. And, you know, I'm not saying nothing. We're not doctors. We're not scientists. We're not miracle workers.
No, but the simplest thing that you can say without problem is the fact that if you have the diagnosis of cancer and you're following chemotherapy and all these things, as an additional treatment, it makes sense to strive for deep ketosis, because that will, for most cancers, I'm not sure if it's for all cases, but for all solid cancers, I think, it will starve the cancer cells.
Yes.
I think there are some exceptions like leukemia or so, but
exactly. And at the end of the day, we're not saying that this is gonna like stop it completely. But what we are saying is that your body just doesn't need any sugar.
Yes.
What you need to do is you need to starve your body from sugar.
Yes.
So whether that's going to help, whether that's going to improve, I firmly believe it will.
Absolutely.
But you won't know until you actually try it.
But it's like this, man. And you know what? We're gonna do another. We'll do a talk and like a conversation on this, because I think this is a deep one, and it's a hard one to sort of swallow, because a lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people think, "Who the hell are you guys talking about cancer? You guys know nothing. You guys don't know." I'll tell you what, man. It's everything. As soon as you address your everything, your body, your health, everything.
Yeah, it is so much more than diet. I mean, that's the whole issue. Indeed, if your diet is perfect, I mean, there's still so much influence of all the environment around you that for sure it will remain to exist also if you follow a good diet.
So you know what, boys, we'll probably wind this one up. It's 11-11-11, 1-1-1-1-1. So that's a good time. Right on. We'll get into that, I think, in a future talk, like, about that, because I think we can go forever about that, and there's a lot of stuff I think all of us would say about it, and you know, a lot of times, like, what we're doing, guys, we really appreciate all your support. We really appreciate all the comments. Solardare has been here I love it. The comments are popping up. We really appreciate that stuff. We are here live Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK in Ireland, and 7 p.m. in the Netherlands. Mark, we're gonna get you so that people can go to the Carnivore Evolutions. Like, Mark has a podcast on Spotify with Victoria Olson. Guys, go check it out. It's Carnivore Evolution Podcast on Spotify, and they have a YouTube channel. I know you've been sort of getting it active, but I'll post the links obviously in the description to that below. But you know what? It's a great place for one-on-one. When you want to hear Mark write things down, that's the place to do it. It's awesome, man. And he brings guests, and they have one-on-one conversations. It's amazing. So it's really cool, really good stuff. Any last words, boys? Sorry, I'm kind of hogging the mic there.
Well, I would like to invite all of our viewers also after the live, if you have any ideas for new topics or questions that we could address, also outside the live, then I would be very interested.
Awesome.
And if there's anybody listening who's actually doing carnivore and it's actually changed your life, guys, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to interview you. We'd love to listen to your story, because this is what we need. So if there's anybody listening and you want to share your story, please reach out to us. We'll have you on, no problem.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, guys, just, you know, shameless plug here for these two. Like, man, you know, when we found each other online, and it was like kindred spirits, and we're all like, we're all from different places on the planet. Like, this is unreal how many miles are between us. It's pretty cool. It's part of it, man. We're not doctors. We're not like you should listen to Sean Baker, Ken Berry, Anthony Chafee, Bart Kate. They are phenomenal. We're just
that's who we learned of.
But we're just normal guys having an experience that we feel is so profound, so powerful, that we have to share. And we really appreciate all your support and all of your interaction. Like, come on and talk to us. We want to be the beacon of this way, because one person at a time. I don't care if there's two people, one person watching us, hearing us, whoever sees this is like, it's really important, because I believe we're doing, you know, arguably God's work, because it's saving they're saving their own lives, and it's so powerful. And you know, like, you can find Mark on Fitness Beyond Time 01 at TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, right, Mark? Facebook?
Yep.
And Peter is Dutch carnivore. So I always say like Peter is the Dutch carnivore, but it's Peter is at
Oh.
Dutch carnivore. At Dutch Carnivore all over social media. And you can find me at Tony_Food4Thought on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, if you're watching this on my channel, Food for Thought, question everything. We are the meat of the matter. We really appreciate all your help, support, like, subscribe. Please do all the things. Thank you very much for that. That's Mark. He's Peter. I'm Tony. We'll see you next Sunday.
See you soon,
See you
guys.
next time.